Good morning, Girl Scouts. Welcome to Virtual Camp CEO. My name is Chef Ris Lacoste. I have a restaurant downtown DC called Ris, and I've been a member of Camp CEO for many years, bringing cooking classes to you each and every year. So today we're doing it from my own kitchen, which I'm very excited about. We're going to have a great class. We're going to learn how to make English muffin pizzas. I thought that would be an easy and fun thing to do. It was always something I enjoyed making for my girlfriends when they came over for pajama parties, which I had many of. We always had a great time. They can be made of anything, very simple to put together, and they're delicious. So let's begin. First off and foremost, whenever you start a cooking project, you really want to have your mise en place put together. So mise en place is a French expression. It means put into place. But for us cooks, it means that we have every ingredient in front of us ready to go. Because when you assemble something, when you cook something, when you make a pot of soup, you want to talk to that food. So you want to put the onions in the pot, but you want to have the celery and the stock and everything else that goes with it ready right behind you, because you want to watch each step. You want to observe each step. And you want to commit it to memory for the next time you make it, what each step looks like and how you layer each step and layer that food to create a great flavor. So it's very important that you're ready to go, that you're not running around trying to find the celery or find the next ingredient, that it's right in front of you, ready to go. So this is what we have here. We're ready to go to start building our pizzas. I gave you a list already, so you should have the ingredients in front, your ingredients ready to go. Some cooked, some not cooked. Also, you've selected which ingredients you want to put on your pizza. So I have just about, many things here. Whether or not you are going to use these ingredients, you're going to use your own ingredients, your own personal taste. That's up to you, but we're kind of going to go through what we have. First off, I have my cheeses. I have a mixture of shredded mozzarella, provolone, and cheddar. I have some grated Parmesan for finishing touches. I have some different meats. I have an Italian capicola and pepperoni. I have a little spinach and feta and artichoke, which I think is going to make a delicious pizza. I have my pizza sauce, of course. I have some fresh vegetables, some pepper, onion, and a little bit of jalapeno for those of you who like a little bit spicy. I have some mushrooms and olives here that I'm going to prep for you. And then, first thing I'm going to do, however, is to put meats and things that need to get cooked in the oven, so that when I'm ready to go, I have everything in front of me to assemble the pizzas. So I have some bacon and some just sausage meat. You may have selected already cooked sausage, in which case you wouldn't have to cook it again. You can just slice it and put it on the pizza. But I have raw sausage, meat, and bacon. I'm going to put that in the oven along with my English muffins. So I've broken them in half. I'm going to put them in the oven to toast. And you may ask, why can't you just put the sauce on there and the cheese and build them and put them in the oven? Well, we don't have the luxury of a 900-degree oven that pizza houses have. So for us to make these English muffin pizzas, for the best results, it's best to toast them first. And then we'll put all the luxurious toppings on top. So I'm just going to put these in the preheated. I think I put 350 on your sheets, but I put a 400-degree oven here in my house. And I'm just going to put them both in. I'm guessing that's going to take about 10 minutes. And so let's hope and pray that that's true. Okay, so my mise en place is in front of me. Meanwhile, I'm going to slice and dice a little bit, show you some knife techniques. You need a great knife, a good knife. If you love to cook, just make sure you have one good knife in your repertoire. This is a great size. This is an 8-inch chef's knife. Good quality. It gets sharpened on a stone, so if it does get dull, you should bring it to a professional knife sharpener and have it sharpened, and it will last for a good long time. Especially since you're not using it all day, every day like I am. But what's important is to have a steel nearby all the time when you look at it, because the stone will create the edge on the knife to make it nice and sharp. The steel will hone it and keep that edge sharp, really sharp. So I will take my knife to the steel half a dozen times in the course of a day. As soon as I notice that it's getting a little bit dull, I like a really sharp knife. The importance of that is it just makes your life easier, but also it's going to prevent accidents, because if you have a dull knife, you have to force that knife even more because it's dull to get through whatever you're cutting. So accidents can happen that way, things can slip, and you can cut yourself. If you have a sharp knife, you still have to respect that knife and be very, very careful. But chances that you're going to cut yourself are a lot less if you maintain a very sharp knife. Okay, first thing we're going to do is an onion. Everybody needs to know how to cut an onion. So I cut both ends off. Then I cut the onion in half. Take the peel off. It's great when you're cooking a lot of things to have a little bowl around to capture all the trash. So I'm going to use this one right here. Okay. So again, also in cutting and to prevent accidents from happening, it's always good to have things on a flat surface. So I've cut this onion in half. I have it flat down. You'll notice all the beautiful ridges in that onion as you're looking at it, because you know when you cook, you're paying attention to everything. You're observing and you have full respect for the equipment you're using and for the food you're working with. It's an awesome communication. It's a great feeling. So you have your knife and you're going to start at one end. Your fingers are your guide, okay? So you want to curl your fingers in a little bit and hold them there, and you're just going to move them bit by bit, depending on how thin you want those slices or how thick you want those slices. And just keep on going. Now, I have a shorter end, I have a wider end that's flatter, and I'm going to go from this end. So I'm always trying to create that flattest surface. So then I'm going to go and continue and finish off that one. So I have a beautifully sliced onion. I'm going to slice, that's probably all I need, so I'm not going to slice the other half. Or maybe I will, because I'm going to be very careful, go as slow as you have to, but look how thin those slivers are that I'm creating. I mean, it takes time. I remember my first day of work, I was talking to this girl, the chef was taking me on a tour of the kitchen, and she was talking to me as she was slicing this whole box of mushrooms, and her hand, she was talking to me and her hands going like this and slicing mushrooms, they were flying, the slices were flying in the air, and I'm like, how is she doing that? And not paying attention and talking to me at the same time. But once you've sliced a million boxes of mushrooms, you can do that. Until then, pay strict attention to what you are doing. Very important. Okay, onion is done. Okay, so put that aside as part of your mise en place. Meanwhile, speaking of mushrooms, here are the mushrooms to put on our pizza. I'm going to pretty much do the same thing. I have a flat surface already created in that mushroom cap. Then I'm just going to go. Mushrooms I'm going to slice a little bit thicker, because once they cook, a lot of water in mushrooms, they're going to shrink. And I want to be able to bite into a bite of mushroom. I don't want this paper thin mushroom. I want something that I can bite into. So I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. And I know that you might be cooking along with me. I hope that you are. So just try to follow up. We'll have time after to assemble our pizzas. And you have everything set up and ready to go. So here we go. Okay. So it's very easy to slice those mushrooms. I'm going to put a little jalapeno just for heat on maybe one of the combinations, and so it's always fun. You can slice the jalapeno straight across. Remember, if you don't like a lot of heat, just eliminate the seeds. If you like just moderate heat or a lot of heat, then just leave the seeds there. They're absolutely fine, but that's where most of the heat centers. So I am going to go with moderate heat, and what I'm going to do is, and I'm going to do the same thing with the red pepper. To maximize the use of the pepper, I'm just going to go and cut around that pod of seeds in the center. So I'm going to cut this into 4 essentially, just 4 pieces. I'm going to throw this out. Now I've done that sin of not wearing gloves to cut this jalapeno, because now my hands are touching those seeds, so just be very, very careful. Throw this away right now into my trash, but I'm going to wash my hands, because if I rub my eyes, I'm just going to get fire and burn my eyes. So give me a second. So now I'm just going to go ahead and just make half moons of this jalapeno. Because I don't want anything too, I want to be able to bite into it and taste these, so I don't want anything too thin. And it won't be that hot just because the seeds have been removed, so we should be in good shape. It's great to have all these little bowls too in your kitchen, so I hope you have some little containers to put all your items in. Okay, red pepper is great on pizza. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing I did with the jalapeno and just cut the sides off in quadrants. Use this little bit that's on the bottom. Trying to stay away from, trying to remove this inner pith. It's not bitter or anything, and it's absolutely fine, not the end of the world. Just remember, I come from the restaurant world, and we have to make everything look as pretty as possible. When you're cooking for yourself, oftentimes you don't have to be as fussy, but it all depends on what you want. If you feel like being fussy, be fussy. And I would skin out all that center core and make some beautiful juliennes. But it's just us, so I'm just going to take out a little bit of that center, and again, I'm just going to make slices of pepper that are substantial enough to taste and not be lost. And I know I'm going much faster than you are probably going, but just be careful, take your time, and we're just making little pizzas, so we're having fun. I take it seriously a lot of times when I'm cooking, because I get myself in a zone. And also, I've just been doing this for a long time, and I still, again, so pay attention to what I'm doing, because it's, I don't like to chat, it's a lot that I'm even talking right now, because it's really, you do have to focus on what you're doing, and you really are paying attention. And again, I always say that I have a conversation with food when I'm cooking, and it's part of that love and part of that passion that you're putting into what you're doing, and ultimately the people you are feeding can taste that passion and can taste that love. So put all the care and respect and genuine love that you can when you're cooking. It makes a big difference in the final result, even from just slicing a pepper. When I finish this pepper, I'm going to give a little check into the oven to see how our English muffins and our sausage and bacon are doing. And then we're going to go ahead and dice that ham and see that we're all ready to assemble. That was pretty easy. A lot of these things you can just buy already sliced. I bought the pepperoni already sliced, and the artichokes were nice marinated artichokes. So it's pretty easy. So before I do the ham, I'm going to take a look. When I finish this pepper, I'm going to give a little check into the oven to see how our English muffins and our sausage and bacon are doing. And then we're going to go ahead and dice that ham and see that we're all ready to assemble. That was pretty easy. A lot of these things you can just buy already sliced. I bought the pepperoni already sliced, and the artichokes were nice marinated artichokes. So it's pretty easy. So before I do the ham, I'm going to take a look. Check our English muffins and our sausage. Oh, they're perfect. So that was about 10 minutes. Just want to get them nice and a little bit golden, nice and crisp. Remember, the sauce and the toppings and everything are going to moisten them a little bit and bring them back to that perfect texture that you're looking for. And then the sausage and the bacon, this is perfectly ready to go. So let's sit that down for a minute, I'm going to dice the ham, and then we're going to start assembling our pizzas and make many different flavors, many different wonderful things. Be careful, make sure you have some nice oven mitts. Again, respect the heat of the oven. We all have received burns on our arms when we work in the kitchen, because that's just the way of our world, and cuts on our fingers and things like that. So when you're cooking at home, just be very, very careful. In the event you ever do burn yourself, make sure that, you know, what's always nice, in every kitchen there should be an aloe plant. Aloe is a wonder drug. And so as soon as you burn yourself, put some aloe on that burn. It will disappear. It's pretty amazing stuff. Otherwise, ice cold, I used to do ice cold water and salt. So I put my hand in ice cold water and then rub salt on it and let that sit for a while, then back in ice cold water. The salt will bring up the liquid so it doesn't blister, and that's really great also. And then my Spanish cooks, they all rub, they slice a tomato and rub the tomato on the burn. And I don't know, but it is magical as well. So those are all thoughts. If you are at home, or if anyone you know burns yourself, just start with an aloe plant, though. It's just really, really good stuff. Okay, so while that's cooling down a little bit, cool enough to handle, I'm going to take my slice of ham. One of my favorite pizzas that I order is ham and mushrooms for some reason. You'll see there's a lot of pork product on this table, on this setup. You don't have to use any meat at all to make a delicious pizza. We all know that. But I grew up French Canadian, and pork was, I think, part of our everyday, I want to say. We loved it. We had ham, and we had pork meat pies, and we had all kinds of delicious things. Favorite meals. My mother was a great cook, simple cook. She had 7 kids to feed, and we ate well. She loved her whole milk we had growing up. We always had butter and not margarine. We always had beef in the freezer. And then we ate simply other than that. I'm just cutting up this ham. I'm just dicing it. So I made long strips of julienne. And then I'm just now trying to dice. So I'm going to make them as perfect as I can. About ready. My mise en place is set. How's it going on your end, girls? You have your pizzas ready? Are you ready? You thinking what pizzas you're going to have? Getting ready for a good lunch? Okay, I have my steel. We can put that away. I have everything I need right here in front of me. I'm going to take a quick little slice these olives in half, just to spread the chair. You can put any kind of olives you want, black olives. These are called Castelvetrano olives, and they're great because they're not too overbrined, but they're just green olives, so any olives you like, feel free to put on your thing. They go great with the fattiness of the cold cuts of the pepperoni and of the sausage, the capicola, because that salt and that brine cuts through that fat flavor. So it's really just kind of a great little touch if you like olives. Even if you don't like olives, they're a nice little touch. Pickles are another thing you can do to cut through that. And so when you take that bite, you have the cheese and you have the sausages, which I'm in heaven. I'm a meat lover's pizza girl from way back. So, but it's nice to have that little bite of piquant in there, just to cut through the fat. Okay, so I have everything here I could possibly need to put on a delicious pizza. I'm going to set up a little station here. I'm going to put this towel down so that I can put my hot pan on top of it. I'm just going to go ahead and top these pizzas right directly on this pan, and then I'm going to put them right back in the oven. I have 1,000 bowls here, girls, so if you want to come over and pick a bowl sometime, you are welcome. I've collected them all over the years. When I lived in Berkeley, there was a lot of pottery going on. And also every year I participate in a not Food and Friends, but So Others Might Eat program. And artists bring their bowls, create bowls, beautiful. You know, they're all over, you'll see them. So artists create bowls, and then we chefs make soup, and people come for lunch and they pay $25. They get our craft bowl, and then they fill it with all of our different soups. So it's really a great event. So I collected a lot of bowls doing that. But I love every one of them. And I know every one of them has a story, which is also great. I probably have too many of them, but you know, there are worse things in this world than to have too many bowls, in my opinion. Okay, we're ready. I need one more little dish. Put my bacon in. Are you girls ready? Ready to go? You have all your mise en place ready? And maybe you've even already assembled ahead of me. That may very well be too, but let's see. So I'm just chopping this bacon up. Again, some things need very petite dice, other things need rustic dice. It all depends on what your final project is. You know, you might want, I like a nice big bite bacon, so, or else I want a tiny little piece. So it really doesn't matter. But then again, if you think through it and you think about it, if you don't like it coarsely chopped like that, next time you'll cut it smaller. So that's how I operate. If you don't like it this first time, it always can be better. So think through everything. Okay, ready? I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to give you one little class, especially in the days of COVID, about hand washing. Wash them all the time, as many times as you can. You don't have to wear gloves when you're cooking if everything that you're touching is going to be cooked. So all of this, you know, as I was prepping vegetables, I wasn't wearing gloves because it's all going to go onto the muffins. It's all going to go into the oven and it's going to be cooked. If you're making a salad, if you're making a sandwich, and food that you are creating is going from your hands to someone else's mouth without being cooked, then you should be wearing gloves. So that's that rule, the Department of Health rule that we follow strictly in the kitchen. Okay, very exciting. What's going to be our first pizza? I think I'm going to make two of my favorites, three of my favorites, and then we'll start playing. So I'm going to put some pizza sauce really to the edges on each one of these English muffins. Saying it's about a good full tablespoon on each one. Remember, these are going to be heated up. I'm going to heat them up until they're nice and bubbly. Cheese is melted. Key is your key test. They're great leftover cold pizza, you know, is one of life's favorite breakfasts. I hope you all love your cold pizza in the morning. I know I do. So if you make extras, not so bad. You can also make extras and you can freeze them and just pop them in the toaster oven, or pop them in the oven for a snack. So make your own little, frozen packaged pizzas, why not make a bunch of them when you're making the batch, because obviously we have all these ingredients, so you might as well make a bunch. Okay, so let's start. I think cheese is next, but the first one I'm going to make is spinach and feta and artichoke. So I have a little bit of spinach here, and I have some feta cheese, which is just one of my favorites in the world. This is a sheep's milk feta. It's got a nice salt content, nice sharp content that just really comes through, brilliantly. Goes great with lemon and cucumbers, all those wonderful things. And I have some beautiful marinated artichokes that I'm going to go ahead and just put on top of that. So to me, that looks like a great bite. I'm going to finish just about every pizza. A little bit of Parmesan, because it's a nice aged cheese. So it's a little bit sharper, a little bit more intensely flavored, and it just kind of, you know, finish things off. Okay, then my next pizza that I'm going to do is ham and mushrooms. As I said, is one of my favorites. So I'm going to go ahead and put the mushrooms down first. I don't know why, but then I'm going to put the ham on the top. Some of it's presentation. You want to see that pink color, you know, on the top. You could arrange the slices of mushrooms, which I didn't do on that one beautifully. You can fan them out, so you can certainly choose to do that. I'm going to put, and I forgot to put the cheese on that. I'd ordinarily put the cheese down first, so I'm just going to put the cheese on top and let everything melt through. You don't have to season too much any of the extra ingredients, because the cheese has salt, the spaghetti, the sauce has, the pizza sauce has salt. Certainly all of these meats are already cured with salt, so I think you're pretty good to go there. I'm going to try that mushroom and ham one again, just because I'm going to put the cheese down first this time. And it is my favorite. That's what maybe I'm going to have for my lunch today. There we go. You can see the ham sprinkling on top. We're going to top both of those with a little bit of parm. Okay, so next, what's next? Next we're going to do that meat lovers pizza. So I have some cheese first, chefs. Cheese first. And put a good amount of cheese. You know, just be generous with everything that you do. Don't skimp. And I'm going to put, break up some of this sausage. This is Italian sausage. Which would be great. A little bit of, I'm going to make pepperoni. I'm going to put my own pepperoni pizza because I love pepperoni pizza also. I'm going to put some bacon, and I'm going to put some of that capicola, that Italian sausage that we talked about, which I think will be nice for our meat lovers pizza. And again, top with Parmesan. Okay, what's next? I have my assistant over here videoing me. What's your favorite pizza, Donna?
Pepperoni.
Pepperoni. Let's make a great pepperoni pizza for Donna. There we go. So again, we're going to put a good amount of cheese down. And just, you know, when I go and And Pizza is a great place. I don't know if I should advertise, but I like to go to, because they have gluten-free pizzas if I'm feeling I should be good to myself, and dairy-free cheese. But they also have this great array, just like this whole board. You get to say everything that you want on your pizza, and I love that. And so whenever I'm doing pepperoni, or I'm doing, I said, can I have a lot of pepperoni, please? So I always like to put extra pepperoni on my pizza. These are so small, though, it's hard to put a lot of anything. There we go. Put some parm on top. Okay. So then next, I think I wanted to do, use up these onions. So let's do some vegetarian ones. We'll get some cheese first, Chef. Cheese first. Thank you. We're just going to put some onion. And we're going to put some red pepper. And then we're going to put some of those delicious olives on here. There we go. And then a little bit of parm. Okay, and I think I just had a thought when I was making that one to put some of this capicola and some olives. I think will be a great, and maybe a little red pepper. It's a great Italian meat, like similar to prosciutto, and some olives with that I think would be delicious. Stud some olives in there. Try to spread all of the ingredients as best you can, so that, you know, sometimes you want every bite to have everything in it, but then sometimes you want every bite to be a little bit different, so then you'll get a surprise of an olive in that bite, which you didn't have in the bite before. So these are all the things you think about when you're cooking and you're assembling and you're making, and you're anticipating the taste, you know, which is you're here in the moment, and you're talking to these little pizzas, but at the same time, you just can't wait to eat them. So you're creating them for you to just to just dive right in and love them. And just think, as a chef in my position, I'm doing it for my customers so that they're going to dive right in and love them. And that's what it's really, really all about. So it's a lot of passion involved and just in love for what you do. So as simple as this seems, I'm still thinking every moment. I'm watching the cheese fall off. Is that enough cheese? I'm just really paying attention to what's going on. Okay, what's next? What do we have left? We have, I think we've used everything except those jalapenos, so I'm going to make one that's going to be worthy of some jalapeno. So why don't we do jalapeno and ham? I think it's going to be a good combo. Some nice, you could put some nice cotija cheese, you know, if you had some Spanish cheeses, or you know, I'm trying to think of, you know, all the other ingredients, and beans. You know, again, you can make tuna salad melts. You can make anything you want with English muffins. So, you know, the options are endless. Okay, and the last one, I think I have all this meat here, so I'm going to make another sausage and ham, I think. Why not? Maybe sausage, yeah. And no, sausage, I'll do that sausage and bacon thing again. You're gonna love that. Okay. And a little parm. Okay. Okay, so these are gonna go in the oven, I am guessing at the 400 degrees, about 10 minutes. So when we come back, when the pizzas are done, we'll ask a couple of questions while the pizzas are cooking. And we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about our next cooking class. So I hope your pizzas are ready to go in the oven. And if you have any questions, I am here for you. Thanks. It's been about 10 minutes. Look at these beautiful pizzas. It's exactly what you're looking for. The cheese is melted, golden, and beautiful. You want to set them on a nice hot pad. And we're going to transfer them to a serving tray. So let's take a nice platter. Perfect for pizzas. Take your tongs. I always, all through college, all through once I started cooking and loving, I would treat my friends to cooking all the time. I'd have fondue parties and all kinds of great things. And they just, you know, it's a great way to make friends. And it's just, I was always happy to please. So I really, really loved that. So here's a great little, even different colors and stuff, you know, different things. Doesn't that look great? Garnished with a nice sprig of basil. Again, you can drizzle with a little olive oil. Let's do that. And then you have all these leftover ingredients. So again, make a ton of pizzas and freeze them. Or you can take most of these ingredients, or if you have enough sauce left, make yourself a nice, put it all in a pot, cook it down, and make a nice batch of spaghetti pasta sauce. And you can cook yourself a batch of pasta and everything. So don't let anything go to waste. Find a use for it. And enjoy every bite. And thank you, girls, for allowing me into your homes. Happy Camp CEO. I love you.